Hey there everyone, it's AJ and it is time for another video, and in today's video I am going to be exploring gouache. This is gouache. I have used gouache in the past, but when I'm doing it for watercolours, that is kind of what I do with that. But I've gone and got some more gouache, and I'm using Daler Rowney gouache just as a sort of test thing. I've got an assortment of colours, and I'm just going to give this a go and see how I get on. So to begin, I decided to basically use this ice cube tray, which is a fantastic little thing to do because my paint is still fresh as of this moment that I am actually making this audio, and it's been a few days or so, even longer. I've probably had that in the tray now for about a week and it's still fresh. So ice cube trays are with these lids are fantastic for keeping your paints fresh and basically in the same compartment because they're designed to keep ice cubes in the same compartment. So I began by swatching. Now with gouache, that is meant to be a more opaque thing, but I know that you can add a bit more water to it, which is what I did. So I did two versions, one which was pretty much straight paint, and then the other one was a bit more watery. And actually, I really quite like the application. These colours are quite vibrant, and I'm just really happy with the overall result. I probably will look at switching out some of the actual colours to different colours, but just slightly better colours to go well with mixing with one another, and see if I can look for just single tubes of maybe a different one. Of the blues is a bit of a trickier colour to use, as well as one of the reds. I will probably go for a magenta rather than one of the reds that I've got. I can't remember which red it is now, but yeah, that is how that goes with that. But I decided to have a bit of a play with mixing. As you can see, I really enjoyed doing this. This was quite a sort of nice enjoyment and relaxing thing. It's something I very rarely do, and I know I should probably do it more often, and I would have got much better results had I done that more with other mediums. But I really enjoyed the whole idea of swatching and just seeing what the colours can do and what I can make of the colours. And yeah, I also played around with using the greens and mixing some more colours with them, like the sort of reddy or yellowy colour for that. So to begin with, I decided to sketch out a little bit of a piece just for this. Initially, my idea was that I was going to make this nice and simple, and then I ended up somehow going into a full-blown composition. This piece does eventually just get abandoned because I'm like, I still don't really know the colours that well, and I perhaps maybe should have slowed my roll and just kept and kind of thingy, because I didn't make it wasn't great, and I'm just still really learning how to do. But as a sort of very basic practice piece, it was still relatively okay. And now that I, after doing it, know how the colours work on the screen, on the screen, but on the paper a little bit better, how they play and how they dry. One thing I loved about this though is that it dries quite quickly. So unlike watercolour where it can take ages to dry, this actually dried incredibly quickly, and that is something that I really enjoyed. Also, I'm not sure if my paintbrushes were particularly great in this, which is why I struggled a little bit, although I did like the earthy colours that I managed to get. But I'm wasn't particularly happy with the sort of application on this particular practice piece, and you will see me go a lot better in the future one. I wasn't happy with the composition. It was a little bit weird, and the trees weren't the greatest. There's something with trees that you need to really remember, and that is the whole top doesn't have leaves everywhere. Some do, like conifers and things like that, but if you look at trees, you will see that they have gaps in the branches where you can sort of look up, and most of the leaves kind of wind around the branches and things, whereas on this drawing that I'm doing, it wasn't that great. So I flipped over the canvas just to get a different perspective, and I came up with this composition. And I actually really like this sort of lone tree type thing. I could have added something a bit more on the left hand side, but that's something that I can think about in the future. But if I was to crop this, I would probably crop it so that it is a bit more vertical and just a bit sort of nicer, really. It's going to be a bit smaller than what the actual paper is, basically, is what I'm trying to say. But the scene that I decided to do was, because I'm wanting to get into doing like little slimy things and stuff, not more slimes, because I think slimes are cute. They're just like these cute little mobs that go there and squelch around and go. But yeah, so I thought so that it was simple, I could do these little slimes. They've clearly raided some poor chap or person who was having like a picnic, or they were just out adventuring and they came and raided this thing. I put some up in the trees, if you can tell. This little cute one in between the two branches right up at the top there as well. And I just got to go. Now, I find that one of my strengths in any sort of thing is like these sort of landscapey compositions. I don't know what it is, but I've somehow managed to really get into that. And I really want to focus on that a bit more and sort of really hone this so that I can apply better techniques of painting wise. But overall, I really am happy with the outcome of this particular piece, and I just love the sort of subtlety of the trees. I think sometimes you can go too much detail trying to do out every bit of bark and things, but I really have just used the colour very simply just to do that. And I used a brush that I've had for a while, but I haven't actually got around to using it, which is quite a long brush. I don't know what it's called. I've seen people use it, and it's really nice just for that sort of like little bits of detail. You can really do like sort of fine point details on that. And then I chose the sort of purpley colour for the slime just because I felt it would help bring it out just a little bit more. I think it was quite a nice sort of thing to go with. I mean, because obviously all the colours were mixed together anyway, like mixed from the same things, they kind of still go relatively well with each other. So it's not too much of a thing. It kind of still ties in nicely. It's not like I've gone and got paint from somewhere else and done that. Here you can see me mixing sort of like nice earthy brown, which I think I would have put on the for the trees, just to add that bit more of a depth to it. And that is kind of like, this is just like sort of how I have my setup for it. Here I am applying that brown colour that I mixed to the tree, just sort of making it nice and just setting it in, just adding a bit of shadow and not applying too much. I'd probably not use the gouache how most people would use the gouache. I'm probably going to look up a few YouTube videos and do that, but this was more just to sort of get to know it and get to know the medium and do that. And I'll probably will do more. Well, I'm definitely going to do more because I really enjoy the medium, and I'm going to explore it a bit more. I think what I might do is, because gouache is a more obviously an opaque medium to watercolour, what I'll probably do is more backgroundy stuff with watercolour first, like the skies and things, and let that dry, and then work on top of the watercolour with the gouache. I'm going to maybe experiment that. Maybe I'll do that in a couple of videos time or something like that, where I do a few different little studies and give that a go and see how I get on. And I love this scene. It's just a cute little scene, and I am probably going to look to make this available as a print because I think it is quite a nice scene. Maybe not. I'm not sure yet. I've just had a quick look at it, and it's just a few little things that I'm still not particularly happy with, like the backpack, for example. I might work on doing more itemy things as well in gouache, maybe a few pages of just, you know, little doing items, just probably like an inch by inch thing or something, or inch and a half or something like that. Just little items that I can like throw into my pieces and do that. But I just really like the fact that I could layer things and not worry about it disturbing the underneath too much. And the paint just really worked well and mix really well too. And I think it's a nice in between of like acrylic and watercolor, enough that you can spread it out a little bit more if you need to, but you can really like just almost use it straight out of the tube if you wanted to as well. And I think that is something that I really had enjoyed using when I did this, and that is what I will continue to probably do when sort of moving forward with that. Anyway, I am going to stop talking now because I think I've been talking enough, and I'm just going to let you listen to a bit of music toward the end of the piece, and I will sign out then. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I actually really enjoyed making this, and I am hoping that I'll be able to go back into making a few more videos a month. I've had a few changes in my life, which means that I should have a bit more time. Well, I do have a bit more time in order to do more content for you guys to enjoy. So if you did like it, please hit that like button, as well as leave a comment in the description, in the comments below, and I will look forward to reading them. Also, if you want to see more videos like this, please hit that subscribe button, and also the bell notification to be notified as to when I post videos. In the next coming months, I am planning on maybe doing a sort of store type thing. I want to kind of be able to support myself a little bit more doing the art side of things. So I am going to be looking at maybe opening maybe a Redbubble or something like that will allow me to do that. So if that's something that you're going to be interested in, please let me know in the comments below as well. Until next time, I'll see you later.